Talk soon.
I'm running out of time. Being patient. Wish I could press rewind and start over. I make all my mistakes. Disappear. Every decision I made would be right.
Steadily the clock's ticking, the plot thickens. I'm hustling and struggling to be a man like my pops didn't. I'm not bitching, just got a lot on my mind. The world with a pork and a daughter, win a lotto with dimes on the grind. I roll with thugs, down to make it. So if you wanted it, I got it.
Welcome back to Beyond the Journal. I'm your co-host, Lawrence, and I'm not going to say anything. Just something's going to happen after I say hi. So hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back, Lawrence.
Thank you very much.
Thanks
We're
for
not going to
joining-
dwell on your tone.
Thanks for joining us.
Wow. We're not
Thanks
going to
for
dwell on
joining
your
us
tone.
today.
How are you? How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back. Well recovered.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a scary season to get sick. Let me tell you that. People will treat you like a huge germ. It's crazy. It was allergies. That's all it was. And I had to stay in the house.
There's a global pandemic. Sorry to bother you, but
But I wasn't a part of it. Like I was
no one knows that.
I did.
But the rest of the world doesn't.
I had an
We don't
itchy
know.
throat. I had watery eyes. My eye was getting swollen a little bit. I had that thing going on.
Listen,
right?
we don't know where you've been.
Wow. Moving right along. I asked how you were because I really wanted to know how's virtual teaching going?
Please.
Or virtual learning, is that what they call it? Yeah.
That's what they call it. That's not what. That's it. That is not what is happening. See, I can't even speak. I'm like my
You
brain's
must be-
fried.
Yeah, I was about to say, you must be fried. You have 2 boys at home and you're doing virtual learning. What's it like?
It's not even about that because the middle schooler is figuring it out on his own because I'm forcing him to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really that involved. It's the 4th grader with special needs that is the real thing. So I'm basically a student in 4th grade.
Yeah.
So
That's fun.
that's never what I wanted to be doing with my life. So it is challenging. And let me say, God bless the teachers, the remote teachers who are at home dealing with this, because not only do you have to battle technology,
Yeah.
this 4th grade class, like I actually took a video. I have to show you. I'm sorry, but I was laughing so loud.
Why?
Thank God for mute, because it's like one of the first days, right? And all the teacher's saying is like, please put yourself on mute. The chat is closed. Sebastian, please sit down. Can you please stop? What are you doing? We're not eating right now. Please stay in your seat. Eyes
my
on
God.
me. And I'm like, do we learn anything?
I was just about to ask,
Do
is
we
there
learn
teaching
anything?
going on?
But this one kid, so she asked everyone, when she says your name, you're allowed to unmute and then you're allowed to say hello. This one kid, and he swears he didn't do it on purpose and he still sounds like that, so I don't know what's happening. But when like in a movie, like someone calls you for ransom and his
Like that?
voice, and the teacher was like, I'm not really sure what's happening right now, but you sound like you're asking for ransom. And
She said that out loud?
Yeah, she was like, I don't really know what's happening. And I was like,
my God.
I literally just whipped out my phone and started recording it because I was like, is this seriously happening? And I was laughing so hard I couldn't even. And Connor,
Wow.
poor Connor's like, Mom, what's happening? What's going
has
on? What's so
yeah.
funny? I'm like, this is such a circus.
Do you feel like, first of all, I don't want to address the legal ramifications of you recording those Zoom calls. We'll move on.
I didn't post it anywhere. It's my
That's cool.
personal.
I'll put money on your books. Now, the question really is, do you feel like they're learning, though? Do you feel like they're learning?
No.
See, that's my problem, because I know there are schools where like kids are going to school. I want you to know that. Kids are in the classroom, teachers are in the classroom, masks on, and it's like things have not changed. And then with virtual teaching, you get like 20 minutes of instruction if you're lucky, and then they watch like YouTube videos about how yachts are made or something.
Even still, when you have questions and it's really, really difficult to learn that way. And I think as you get older, it's easier. In high school, it's easier. College, for sure, you can do it. Elementary school, especially if you have special needs, it's not happening. It's really, it's challenging, and it's really stressful for everyone involved. I mean, parents, teachers, everybody.
Yeah.
It's really difficult. But the whole thing with New York City, and then pushing back the date, I saw an article yesterday, 100 schools have now reported a case.
What?
100 New York City schools, 100 buildings. Jesus. Yeah. And we're not even in school yet.
I said this was dangerous, man.
We're not even in school yet. So it's actually in the note if you read it, but there are 100 New York City school buildings that have already reported a case of COVID. So, and the link's there if you would like to enjoy further reading about it.
So I'm going to continue on with the show, snarkiness aside.
Right.
It does bother me though to think about the educational gap widening now, right? Because it seems as though only certain schools are in session, and it's dependent upon like the socioeconomic factors, right? And so now this gap widens, and who's going to, I guess, make it right for the little guy, right? Who fixes that? Because it's most of the schools we're talking about who are going through like the virtual learning, their money or their authority is tied to government-made decisions, right? And on the other side, you have like the private sector where they kind of make their own decisions.
Right.
So who's going to stick up for the little guy is what I'm asking. And I don't know that we have that answer because the government has to err on the side of safety and security. And so our children just kind of have to deal and miss a year of school or get a quarter of a year of school in total.
Yeah, they're already behind.
That's terrible.
Because you have to remember, they went home from school one day and just never went back.
You're right.
It wasn't like this was a gradual thing. So they went home from school in the middle of a semester, not even closer to the beginning of the second semester of the year. They just went home and never went back. And no one was prepared for that. So all of the teachers were scrambling to even get online services and Zoom rooms and all of those things. So we're already behind entering into fourth grade. Like, we're way behind. And we were behind anyway because of special needs. So now we're even more far behind. And the thing that's really upsetting as far as, like, in particular, my child is concerned is his emotional intelligence is well beyond his years. So he's incredibly aware. Mm-hmm. I wish he wasn't, because it would be that much easier just to like go, hey, you're just going to do third grade like twice.
If he were aloof, right.
Right, but he isn't. And so that makes it even more challenging because you're dealing with emotional needs as well as educational needs, special needs. There's a lot going on, but we're already far behind. And, you know, that's a special case. But like in general, I have friends who don't have the technology. So they were going to the school to check out the technology. And even now, they're still having issues trying to get into the class and get the link to work, or it works and they get kicked out. And there's just so many technological issues that are preventing the education.
My son's city, I guess it's a city distributed email, wasn't working. So he's missing like days of work, and the teachers don't have a way around it.
No.
And I'm like, hold on. How is this even a thing? The kids got to learn. Like that's the one thing that is consistent throughout our history since DeWitt Clinton invented public school in New York City. The kids have got to learn, right? And so there should be no obstacle to that at all.
But it's not the teacher's fault. You have to be sympathetic with them because they're not in charge of it, and they're trying to do the best that they can as well. It's just challenging all around. Technology, as much of like it's a blessing, but it's also a huge curse.
I agree.
In many ways, on many levels. It's not just this, but it is a huge obstacle for education right now. So
if I told you your kids were going back to school on Tuesday, would you say okay?
No. Okay. I want to say okay.
I hear you.
I really, like, deep in my soul want to say okay. I really want them in school, but no.
You know, I was a huge advocate of everybody staying home prior to me finding out that a lot of people weren't. Mm-hmm. And then when I found out that people weren't staying home, I was like, well, you know, I'm competitive. So I was like, well, I don't think my son should stay home now. Maybe they should go to school. And that's a really dicey position to be in as a parent.
Here's my thing. I'm waiting because in public school, you can opt in at different phases.
Right.
So November 1st, I can opt in. So, but they push school back till October 8th. So they won't be going to school till October 8th for doing the blended learning. So everyone's virtual right now, or remote, excuse me. So on October 8th, then they can go back. And then November 1st, anyone who's all remote can opt into the blended. So I'm waiting to see how it goes, because what I think is when October 8th hits, by the time you get 2 weeks into that, I think we're
Yeah.
going to have a
I
whole
was-
different story.
That's why I said I was about to say I've got 2 words: second wave.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was
and,
4
and
words, but whatever.
cold and flu season and all this stuff happening. Like, come on.
Yeah, you see
I'm just not. I don't know right now.
I don't have any answers, and I wish I did. Let's talk basketball.
Let's do that.
The NBA playoffs.
Yes.
Are you a fan?
Yeah, you know.
I'm a fan. The bubble's been good.
Yeah, I think it's been good. I mean, it's been interesting. I like it. I mean, listen, what else are we watching? Although football is back, and I have enjoyed.
Oh, you've been
football.
watching football? I haven't watched any football. I'll be honest with you. I have not watched any football at all.
Really?
I
Well, you missed quite a Chiefs game, let me tell you.
Oh.
3 in overtime. He had to kick a 58-yard field goal 3 times.
What?
He hit it 3 times. Yes.
Why did he kick it 3 times?
The first time they were offside, so he had to move back to 58 yards.
Oh,
Excuse
wow.
me. Okay, so they moved back to 58 yards. Then they iced him. So as soon as he goes to kick, they call
Timeout.
timeout.
I know what
right?
that means,
Okay.
yeah.
I was just making sure. I
Ice
know
'em.
that you know
Ice 'em.
football or whatever.
I know
So-
all sports. Catch me on the cricket field. Keep going.
Okay, sure. And then the third time was the actual kick, and
That's
they're like,
crazy.
"There's no way this kid." First of all, hitting 58-yard field goals insane.
Yeah, I haven't done that since high school, so I can only imagine.
Oh, now we do this too.
I do a lot.
So you dunk and you
I
can
do a
kick
lot.
58
We should
yard
do a
field goals.
Beyond the Journal Olympics. I
This-
would be amazing. I guarantee you I'd do better than you at everything. Anything. What? Ping pong, foosball, anything. Maybe not foosball. I'm terrible. Okay, so back to basketball.
Are you good at air hockey?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Listen, I'm a competitive dude. Like, if anybody, first of all, I'm going to send this challenge out to America. If anybody wants to see me on a table game, I'm talking about ping pong. That's table tennis. I'm talking about air hockey, foosball. If you want to see, come see me. We could even play pool.
Can you please stop?
I'll go back to the show.
can we
I'm
just
sorry.
Stop. This
So,
is not about you.
it's-
Let's go. So anyway, so
Oh,
football
yes, it
is
is,
football.
America.
What?
Yes, it is America.
You would say that. So yes, football's back. So I have been enjoying some of the football. Did you hear about the Chargers? By the way, the doctor was giving him an injection and punctured his lung. The Chargers.
Yeah, so
team
there's
doctor?
legal ramifications about that, right? But go ahead. Tell
I didn't-
people
I-
while I pull it up.
no-
My, one of my homies was sending me messages about that, and I didn't get a chance to read it all.
Yeah, no, I didn't even read that much about it, but they said they lied. They didn't lie, but they just didn't give all the details prior to the game. They just said he was out. And then
Right.
afterwards it came out that he actually was giving him an injection and
For the
punctured,
pain,
Yeah,
right?
and punctured his lung. Oh my.
His lung?
His lung.
Nah, that's not what I thought happened.
Yeah, no.
Oh, I can't find the message right now. That's terrible. Oh, here he is. So he says the team doctor is supposed to ask for consent, which he did after explaining the risk. But also, I think that the team doctors aren't liable in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know that they are. There has to be. I don't think he purposely punctured his lung.
Shout out to Different Fitness on Instagram. He said that.
So, anyway, so football's back. So that's kind of interesting to see how that's going to go because they are not in a bubble.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea.
And
And
the
they're in full
coaches-
contact. They touch each other.
3 coaches were fined $100,000.
Oh, yeah, $100,000. My 49ers and the Seahawks.
$100,000 for not wearing their mask, and then the team was fined $250,000.
$250,000, a quarter mil.
$350,000 for not wearing a mask.
That's crazy.
They ain't playing.
You know what I could do with $250,000?
You know what I could do with $250,000?
It's not about you. All right, so the NBA. Let's get back to that. I want to talk about the NBA because I'm actually very pleasantly surprised with the Denver Nuggets. They're
awesome.
I think they're a young team that has a lot of fight. And I honestly feel like in order to play against a team full of veterans who are trying a lot of the Lakers have been trying a lot of psychological tricks just to get them rattled because they're younger. And to see Murray just play ball as though LeBron is just another guy on the court, you need that. You need a guy like that on your team who's not going to be starstruck when the ball is tipped, right?
Totally.
And this kid, well, first of all, I saw a play where he elbowed LeBron in the chin and LeBron showed his acting skills. I like this kid Murray. I didn't at first, but then I like the way he shimmies. You know,
I like him.
I'm a fan of the underdog.
Always.
I'm a fan of the underdog.
Wait, did you see that thing that the Lakers were going to the league to complain because they don't feel like LeBron has been at the foul line enough? Really?
I think LeBron has gotten a lot softer going to the lane as he's gotten older. And I don't say that to be an insult. I say that to be like he's preserving himself. And so for him to ask for a foul, he's got to go harder for me. You know, when you're that big of a guy and you're that capable of being ferocious and you play as though you're soft or you're so malleable that a simple touch can throw you off your path, the referee's looking at you like, bro, I've been watching your games for years. Stop.
Okay, so is Michael Jordan
What are you about to
and
do?
the Bulls,
What are you about to do right now?
Is Michael Jordan and the Bulls going to the league to ask for fouls?
Oh, okay. I thought this was about to get crazy. No, of course
What
not.
did you think
Not
it was-
Mike. Mike.
That's what I'm saying.
But you can't bring Mike into LeBron James conversations, and I think people need to stop that.
Where did you think I was going?
I don't know. It sounded like you were about to insult, but I'm gonna continue what I was saying because it's actually a good statement. Thanks. So now you can't bring Mike into LeBron James conversations because they are two different animals. Mike has a killer instinct. Few people have that killer instinct in the NBA history.
Okay.
And LeBron is just a very efficient superstar. But Michael Jordan was a killer. Kobe Bryant was a killer. All right.
Okay, fine. So give me another example. Like who's going and asking for, but by the way, I love
James Harden.
We
We can put him in that class. We got to put LeBron in that class.
Okay, well then
right
I
now.
don't like that. I don't like that. But
none of my
also,
business.
I loved the head coach of the Nuggets that said today, you know what? I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go to the league because I just feel like if he gets to do it, I'm going to do it too.
Shout out to Mike Malone too. I like him as a coach. I like the Denver Nuggets this year. But the real team I want to talk about, Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Not only did Miami shock the East Coast, Miami proved me right. I always said if Jimmy Butler
this is
finds
about
players like himself, he's gonna go. Jimmy Butler is a killer on the court, and he's a workhorse. Now, if you put other guys around him that not only have that kind of attitude, but that approach to basketball, it's hard to beat a team full of wolves that work together. They are hungry.
Yeah.
They are hungry, and the team camaraderie and chemistry.
Yeah. Oh. It's good. And he did not even bring anyone into the bubble. You're allowed family members or friends
he's
or whatever. He
focused.
was like,
I'm
nope,
going to
I don't
work.
want anybody here.
I'm going to work.
I'm good. And
I do the same thing. I'd never bring anybody to the studio. You notice that? I leave my family at home. I go to work. Jimmy Butler and I are of the same class, it seems. Here I am at work.
How much of this is going to be about you tonight?
I
I'm sorry.
mean,
I'm used to a little bit, but we're taking it to new levels. I guess you missed last week, so you're
I figured
making
you
up.
missed me last week, and so
No.
I'm trying to make up for it.
No. I think I've had my fill. Now we're good. I think you've made your ego very well known here.
Speaking of
Okay,
egos
so-
well known, Clippers. Where'd you go? What happened there? And then so wait, besides the Clippers fizzling out or whatever, and all the drama that's going with the LA Clippers, Paul George's depression and his issues in the bubble, and then turning off the comments, and then just having self-esteem issues. I have qualms with this because number one, you're at work. This is your job. That's number one. The
He's a
fans
human
come with
being.
the job. The fans come with the job. You knew what you were getting yourself into,
Fine.
right?
But he is a human being. We've had this conversation.
I
Go ahead.
can't go there with you. Play ball, bro. Do your thing. You made it to the NBA on one of 400 something spots.
People can have bad games, bad seasons.
I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about the switch and psyche. Like, you can't change your mentality, especially you get to the playoffs and change your mentality. You're at work, dude. You are at work on stage, and you are one of 400 something people out of the billions of people who wanted to be there. I can't feel sorry for you. I can't. I want to be very human right now, but I can't go there with you, bro. Play ball. Play ball. You don't like it. All right.
No, I'm not saying that. No, listen, you know me. I can go half and half either way. So I'm always that way. I totally hear what you're saying. And I've said that before on the show. I've been like, enough with the sobbing and the nonsense. Like, you are in a crazy, amazing position. Man up, do your job. This is what you're paid millions of dollars to do.
Right.
But then on the other side, and we've talked about this too, is like, yeah, he's a superstar. Yes, he came back to the Clippers. I went back home to LA. I mean, and like, people can have psychological problems. People can get depressed. People can have anxiety. People can be going through things in life that unfortunately show themselves on the court. And it's unfortunate that we live in such a like cancel culture and immediately we just want to jump and like talk trash about him. But like he could actually be suffering something pretty serious. I don't know. I mean, how do you go fourth quarter and literally score 0 points, like 0 points? And
who, him or Kawhi?
Both of them.
They both did.
Both did. So this is what I'm saying. Like, I mean, that's crazy. And I'm not saying Kawhi has issues because, you know.
He does.
But, well, that's a whole different story. But I'm just saying, like, we don't know everything about these people. And we think we know, or we base our opinion or, you know, what we talk about on the information that's shared with us. Mm-hmm. But that we don't know everything. And listen, like at first I can be the first one to be like, oh, that garbage. Come on, like play ball, right?
Right.
But then like the like little
person
hippie and loving person just wants to like be like, but guys, what if something really is wrong? And I don't want to make it worse for him. But listen, he has a lot of money. He can handle these issues. He can get some help and whatever.
He can afford
and he can get a sports psychologist. He can work on his game. He has plenty of time. But I just thought it was interesting that clearly something's going on behind the scenes when a source is saying he went in to give a speech after they lost and guys were shaking their heads and rolling their eyes.
Yeah,
teammates
I heard
of
about
his.
that.
So that's not necessarily a good look.
When you're the guy we give the ball to and you don't show up, you
Right.
know, we're going to have a reaction, especially if we depended on you. They felt
Right.
the same way about Doc.
Right.
Which is very interesting because I felt like what happened to the Clippers, I feel like people thought was going to happen to the Lakers.
Yes,
Right?
I agree.
And the Lakers really have shown that there are some serious consummate veterans on that team. Mm-hmm. And they're not only playing championship basketball, they're showing championship chemistry. I was watching a moment where Anthony Davis scored, right? And I was like, ooh, that was a good move. He looks like he could heat up. He hit a jump shot. I was like, oh, okay, get him the ball. They didn't get him the ball. They finally get him the ball, and it gets knocked out of bounds, and he gets hit by Jokic, so he gets mad. He gets the ball, knocks another jumper down, comes down, scores. He goes into the timeout, and he's like, give me the fucking ball. And I'm like, yeah, get him the ball. And then as they're coming out of the timeout, he and Rondo are chatting, and he's like, nah, you got to give me the ball. And Rondo was like, you got to understand. And LeBron walks by and is like, shut up. Come on, man. Forget that. That play's over. Let's go. And they did. And I was like, that's championship basketball because they're not only allowed to voice their opinions, they're also allowed to shut up and play. You feel me? Like, we got to be able to get that out, but we also got to be able to focus. They show up, man.
I know.
They show up. And I'm not even a Lakers fan, but they look good together.
Yeah. I still want the Nuggets to beat them.
That's not going to happen. I think it's Miami and L.A. in the championship. And as much as I hate to see Miami not win with all the hard work they put in, I just like their guys. And L.A.'s going. L.A.'s got it, man. L.A.'s going to win in the bubble. You know what will be interesting, though? You know what I hope happens?
What?
L.A. gets to the championship and decides they don't want to play.
Well,
and they say justice for Breonna Taylor.
It's not gonna happen.
No, I couldn't even have a second with that though. Some
Sorry.
airtime.
My bad.
Wow. All right.
It's not gonna happen though. It could have happened before.
It should.
It could happen now.
Before.
It's not happening.
It's not okay. Well,
I
what
don't
are
think it's
the
happening.
players did? You said the players vowed to.
Yeah, they said they're going to continue, but the commissioner also said he feels like the jerseys and the Black Lives Matter on the court and all of those things are very like timely. So he's not sure that stuff will continue, but which is interesting. Yeah.
That is interesting.
Yeah, he said he's not sure how that will play out. And the season won't be starting, most likely, he said, till January. So who knows where we'll be come January. A lot.
I mean, we have a lot going on. We
A
have
lot could
we have
happen.
an election coming up, and
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen when Trump gets reelected, to be honest with you. I don't know what he's going to do. I think he might throw a little bit of a temper tantrum, and especially since it's not like he can be voted out for a third term, so he's going to go out with a blast. Trump might take down the entire country.
He's already doing it. I mean,
He's going to ban basketball.
Oh my gosh, that will be that's not going to happen because I honestly feel like the NBA more than anyone is more organized than any other pro sports organization, and I feel like they would find a way. to make a season happen. I feel like even if the players had to take over and organize their own thing, they would do it.
I think the players should organize their own thing, and I think Chris Paul and LeBron James are the types of guys that can do that.
Yeah, I think they may. I think that could be a possibility, and that would be amazing, and that would be a really great positive change that could come out of. Listen, you always have to look for like the positive things, and there's always, even when things get really dark and doom is like hanging over your head, I feel like in those situations, that's when like heroes are born, right? That's when like great minds come up with great ideas and things can happen.
We need a hero. We need a hero now. We need a hero right now.
We need a lot of heroes.
I mean, to see the justice reaction or lack thereof for Breonna Taylor, we need a hero right now. I mean, so a lot of people don't understand. The reason the police were shot at is because they had a no-knock warrant. Now, when someone has a no-knock warrant, that means they can just come right in, right? They don't have to announce themselves. That's a key part in the case.
Right.
Why? Because if someone breaks into anyone's home in America, we have 2 amendments that protect us from that, right? There's the amendment that we have to bear arms, and there's the amendment that we had for the Quartering Act in the American Revolution, where the soldiers, during the American Revolution, where the British soldiers were allowed to stay in American homes, and they wanted to end that. So when they created the amendments, they were like, that's one thing that cannot happen, right? Armed forces cannot just barge their way into our home. The Second Amendment was so that we could protect ourselves against the government if ever the government wants to commit democide, which means the government wants to kill its own people, which we are close to these days, right? And now you think about the fact that blacks feel targeted by the police. These people come in. We don't know if you're hoodlums. We don't know if you're heathens, thieves, cops. We don't know who you are. And so they start shooting. The boyfriend starts shooting. The cops shoot back. They kill her in her sleep. And the only one who is penalized is the guy who missed his shots and almost hit the neighbors.
Yeah. By the way, side note, you said the government, we're close to the government. The government doesn't need to kill its own people. We will attack each other. They've set it up that way, and it's happening.
I don't know. I feel like we're going to get to a point where it's going to be us or the government. I'll be honest with you, because the government was supposed to be a tool for the people, and now the government controls the people. And it's going to happen only if, and hear me when I say this, lower class whites join in on the fight. Because then it will isolate the government and the highest paid people in the country. And they will all be on one side and we'll be on the other. That's the only way it's going to be that type of situation. But as long as the lower class whites continue to blindly follow and follow the lead of the system, we're in trouble.
And they will, because someone like Trump and basically his entire philosophy is he thrives in chaos. He creates chaos. And when he creates chaos, people start fighting amongst each other, which is happening right now. Go to your social media pages and look.
Well, we don't have to. We can look at the news. The 2 police officers that were shot
on the street
in Kentucky because of the right. But I mean, dude, how could not guilt like?
I know. I'm with you, but I'm just saying, we don't need the government to start killing us. We're going to kill each other. It's crazy.
I just don't. I think, given the climate, 2020, I was expecting there to be justice.
Okay, so here's my thing, right? So here's this thing. I don't understand how this can happen. That's really, so I said to you yesterday, I wanted to be disgusted. I wanted to be upset. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to be sad, but I kind of expected this. And my whole thing that I don't understand about it, and I am angry and sad and disgusted, just to be clear. I'm all of those things, but I wasn't shocked. And I thought, because it's 2020 and all eyes are on this, how could you not? Like, if you can actually, with all of this attention and all of this pressure and all of these protests, and you can actually announce that and like be okay. I just don't understand how that's possible. How can you do that and sleep at night? I don't understand.
I understand it perfectly. You have to understand that I've been teaching about hierarchy for the past couple of weeks. And for those of you who don't know what a hierarchy is, it's like in our case, it's like a pyramid where there are less people at the top and there are more people at the bottom, right? And the purpose of a hierarchy is so that everyone within the hierarchy knows his or her place and everyone understands who has access, who doesn't have access, who has authority, who doesn't have authority, right? So now in this hierarchy, the police have often been used to separate the wealthy from the lower class. Specifically, when you go all the way back in the day, the police were used to track down runaway slaves. Now, when they were tracking down runaway slaves, they weren't tracking down people, they were tracking down property. So the police have long been used to protect the wealthy and their property. The police serve as the buffer. Keep those people away from us. Keep those people in line. So whenever the police are threatened or feel hostile or are attacked, they get support from above because the police are a necessary evil for them, right? When you think about the way a hierarchy works, the police are also very hostile because hostility it's a biological reaction to feeling targeted by your environment, right? And the police are very hostile because, like I said before on our show, they don't get the support they need in order to deal with the traumas that they experience on a regular basis. So all they get is attention for the work they do in the street. If you're sick or you're dealing with trauma and you come in and you say, boss, I need a day off, okay, you just lost whatever you gained on track to your retirement or on track to getting your pension or on track to your promotion. And they know that. It's a very competitive field. So they have to go out, bust heads, write tickets, make arrests, make collars so that they can appease those people up top. Now, put a pin in that. Come to the fact that we live in a financial system. We live in a system. A system's job is not to make things fair for people in the system. The system's job is to make sure that things keep going. Just keep going. Just keep it going. Keep it going. So we've had the same systems in place for a long time. While our technology advances, we all stay in the same place. Why? Because our financial system is tied to the hierarchy that I just mentioned, because the people on the bottom are the labor class. And if you take the labor class away from America, America falls. America falls, right? And I'm talking about America falling in competition with other countries. Everybody's always worried about what's happening domestically, and they hardly ever keep in mind that there are people in this system who have to think internationally because we are in an international market, right? And so you put the hierarchy with the financial system and the pressures of competing with other countries. Who gives a damn about Breonna Taylor? We're trying to compete with other countries, and we need people to just stay in their places because as long as the system keeps going, we're good to go. That's how that happens in 2020.
Right.
And it's a terrible truth, but it's the truth. And the only way you're going to undo this, you have to walk away from the system, or you have to weaken the system by weakening the labor class. But the sad part is, I said technology's advanced, right? If we take away the labor class, they'll replace us with AI. Mm-hmm. So we're in a really bad spot. Mm-hmm. We're in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, and they know it. The people in power, the people with authority and access, they know it. And so they can treat us any way they want. They're in charge. And I don't know if anybody's been paying attention, but Trump has shown you he's not as dumb as he looks. He knows how to skirt the law. And most great business moguls know that we live in a contractual state, and that in order to reign supreme in a contractual state, you have to live in the loopholes. He'll find every loophole possible.
Well, I'll tell you, he's very motivated to win this election because the evidence that is mounting against him in so many areas is overwhelming that they said, like, it would be an instant, like, they want to arrest him instantly, and he will do everything he can to avoid that.
Let's see what happens.
So, and he already claimed he was not going to leave the White House, even if he loses.
The Republicans said they would concede if they lost, but he's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. And I'm not a fan of Trump. I just recognize someone who's about winning, and I get it.
Let me tell you, we already look terrible globally. If he loses and refuses to leave the White House, I mean, we're a circus.
No one's going to take us seriously.
We're a circus right now. No one takes us seriously now anyway. They've already said that. So we're a circus, and it's really embarrassing, and I don't understand. I can't. All I can believe is, like, You have to hit rock bottom to rebuild. And like, we just keep barreling downward, like out of control. I can't. It's happening so fast you can't even process it. It's just
the crazy thing is like, what else can you do? We've rioted, we've protested,
they're still
we've
doing
marched,
it.
we've boycotted,
You're going to continue to do that. You have to. You have to continue. You listen. You said that.
You're right.
You said, "Oh, now we're just gonna let up," and
you're right.
no, but people aren't letting up. And I told you that. I said, "No, it's still happening. Go outside. It's still happening. It is still happening."
You're right.
So and you can't let up.
You're
and
right.
people are very committed to this. And guess what? Like, it was like perfect timing because with Corona, people have nowhere to go. So they're able to be focused on this. They're able to be protesting every day.
But yeah, you're right. I just feel like people really want a distraction, and people are more focused on one another rather than and Trump has been a part of that. You said that.
Yeah,
Trump has literally aided in polarizing the country.
Exactly. And that's that's part of his strategy. Don't you understand? I mean, I know people, white people, diehard religious Republican people I you cannot talk to them. Like it does not matter. They believe all lives matter. And it's like, I can't even, so I give up. Like you can't.
Breonna Taylor's life did not matter.
No, clearly. But this is the thing. Like, how can you say all lives matter when what happened to Breonna Taylor happened? That's why I can't even do this. This is the type of person who believes in Trump and will support Trump. How can you say all lives matter? So let's just say we can say that. How can you look at me straight in the face and tell me all lives matter when Breonna Taylor was asleep in her bed? How do you tell me that?
You already know what they're going to say. Well, her boyfriend shouldn't have shot at the police. And they'll leave it at that. They won't say anything about the no-knock warrant. They won't say anything about protecting your home.
But that's what we do.
Right. Because if I busted into their house, I guarantee you I get shot at.
You'd be dead.
Well, you don't know me. All right. Anyway.
Okay. Really? I mean,
have you seen RoboCop? Sorry.
Okay.
Anyway.
Really? This is getting a little ridiculous.
I'm sorry. So
do you have like a suit that you put on? Like now you're like you have like a whole costume at home?
Nah, but I will. I do feel like I'm covered in love. How about that?
That doesn't shield you from bullets.
You don't know that. Have you ever seen? Never mind. Blank Man. Let's move on.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, let's because.
Oh, you didn't even mention what Trump said about Jewish people.
Yeah, so he just said they're in it for themselves. They're only in it for themselves.
Like they're the Canada of America, right?
This is the other thing. Like, I don't know how you can actually say Trump is not a racist. Like, he's a racist. He just is. I think he might even admit to being racist when he's not on camera, because he's not going to say that. I mean, maybe he would. I don't even know. He's so unpredictable. Who knows what he would do? But honestly, how do you say that? But then in the next breath, he's like, I think it was Trump who said I only hire Jews to handle my accounting. I think he said that. I could be misquoting that, so please don't quote me on that. But I feel like I remember him saying that. Anyway, you know what's crazy though? I met Trump. Did I? I don't think I've ever told you this. Yeah, I don't.
You never told me that.
Yeah. So it's a super short story, but when I worked at agencies and did PR and marketing, I worked with a lot of celebrities and whatever, and or big global brands. And one of the brands that I was working on was Crest at the time. And he had The Apprentice. And Crest was one of the challenges one week. So they had this big loft down in Tribeca or Soho, and it was very exclusive. They shot all day, and only select people from the agency were selected. I have no idea how I got selected, but I did. And I was pretty junior on the account, so I have no idea why I was selected. I think it's because I'm not even kidding, and I'm not even giving myself props, but the way I looked.
Yeah.
Because Trump was going to be there. So I go down there and we film all day, and they're doing their whole all their marketing, whatever they're doing around this new product that we're launching for Crest. And at the end, Trump comes in to have the meeting, and he took time to go and shake every single person's hand. He said hello to me. He asked me how I was. it's so nice to meet you. And he kept it moving. But everybody there was just absolutely beside themselves. Like everyone was catering to him. Oh, he's coming. And he had all his security. Like I was like, is this like like what is happening here? Like this was crazy. But he commanded that room, I have to tell you. Like he walked in and like owned the place. And it was very interesting to see how people reacted to him. So I often think about that, and if hindsight was 2020, right? Like it's so crazy, but yeah, I did have the opportunity to meet him. I mean, I don't know if you really consider like that wasn't that impactful, but
it's an interesting thing to look back on now that you see him in the White House. You know what I mean?
It was very, very interesting. But anyway, it is very different experience seeing what's happening in the country now and seeing him lead versus that very short period of time I was in his presence. Polar opposites.
And just to think like along those same lines, he seems like such a formidable opponent, that it's just that coupled with the way things are, it's like it's enough to want to quit and just like say, you know what, who cares? I give up. It is. I'm sorry. Some nights I think, and I'm just like, yo, are we ever gonna get this right? It's enough to want to quit sometimes.
So are you quitting?
No, I'm not quitting. I'm just saying it's a feeling. I would listen.
I get it.
You know me.
Yeah.
I don't ever think I'm going to lose, even if it means I'm going to win years from now. I don't ever think I'm going to lose. So when I took on this fight to make things right for all of us, I believed in it. I still believe in it. I go to sleep with this on my brain. I wake up with this on my brain. I drive with it on my brain. I teach my sons with this on my brain.
Yeah.
I genuinely am dedicated to the cause of making America right.
Yeah.
Making America what it boasts to be on a regular basis and what it is boasts to be throughout history.
Yeah.
I'm dedicated to that.
Yeah. No,
so I'm not going to give up.
It. I know. I'm not letting you give up.
Oh, I know that. But the civil rights movement lasted a long time.
Well, it feels like we're still in it.
Yeah. It feels like we took a break.
Yeah, it does feel like we took a break and now we're back. We like found our way back. But no, you are not quitting. That's not even language that we will tolerate around here. It's just not a possibility.
I agree.
I get it. And I get that it's so overwhelming and so depressing.
Yeah.
Like I have such a hard time as a human, like understanding it. It's so difficult for me. It literally goes against every like thing I believe in. I just don't understand it, and it's so frustrating. But no, there's no quit. We don't quit. We're not quitting.
Yes,
we
ma'am.
will never quit.
Yes, ma'am.
We will. The only way we quit is when we die. That is it.
That should be the quote of the show today.
Yeah, for real though. I truly believe that because it's also we have children. There's another generation behind us. Even if you don't have children, all of these children are our children.
Yep.
And so we need to look out for them, and it starts with education, and it starts with teaching our kids the right things in the right ways. I mean, I don't know. It is so overwhelming. So I get that you some days just go, I can't do this anymore. And you know what? The other thing though that you have to remember is it's okay to take a day off. It's okay for your mental health.
That's hard for me.
I understand it's hard for you, but for you to be at your best, you also have to be able to take a little for your mental health.
It's very difficult for me to think about how many people are suffering while I'm taking a day off, right? And I know that's not my burden to bear. But I genuinely do walk around with the weight of the world on my shoulders. I feel like a lot of the decisions I make, the consequences rest in advancement or stagnant, or people just being stagnant. I'll leave it there. I know, and I know we've spoken about this. My mom's spoken to me about. Everybody speaks to me about this. But I genuinely love us. Like I mean that. I'm with us, and I am against everything that is against us.
Well, who's us?
Us, the real American people, the people who really believe in power to the people, the people who really believe in democracy, not this democratic republic that has turned into an oligarchy, not the system huggers, not the hierarchy huggers. I'm with us, the people who believe in individuality. I'm with us, the people who believe in empowering one another, living in actual communities and not just capitalist groups that feed off of one another and have these cold connections, and they create limitations and rules and laws so that they can make these cold connections and not real connections. I'm with us, the real people. So I'm not going to give that fight up, and I'm not going to stop fighting for them, because I know how many little kids look up to me and think that I'm some like grand guy, and how dare I not go out there and try my hardest to make sure the world is shaped properly for them. I'm with us. Those are our babies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm going to stop there. We're running low on time, by the way. So.
We are. We have like 15 minutes. Don't we?
Yes.
Okay, but that's like a good amount of time, right? Okay, so what are we talking about? Where are we going?
Don't you want to say your quote?
Oh, well, you can like give me a little hint. I didn't know where you were going with that. You're like,
We literally planned that.
no, but I didn't know you were. Okay, whatever. Listen, people,
Wow.
you're getting a little behind the scenes.
Bless America.
Really? Why that song?
I had a teacher, shout out to Mr. Hartley, who I hated in high school. Whenever I did something that he judged me for, he'd say, God bless America. That Rather ain't never gonna be good. And I would be like, yo, stop talking about me, man. Oh, God bless America. This is the same guy who would walk out during pop quizzes and look back in there to make sure we weren't cheating, but he tried to catch us, like just corny stuff like that. And then when we did stuff and we would talk back to him because we were just tired of him degrading us, and he would say, mad condescending, God bless America. And I'm like, dude, do you really come to work to just pick on us? And he did tell my mother, and then we'll get back to the show. He did tell my mother he's harder on me because I'm a black man and he has to prepare me for America. This is a black man who went out of his way to be tough on me so he could prepare me for America.
So do you appreciate that or
Hell
not?
no. That did not work. That made me bitter. That made me bitter.
I'm asking.
I'm telling. It should make me it made me want to harm him. It made me hostile. It made me aggressive. It made me feel unloved. It made me feel uncared for. You didn't prepare me. If you wanted to prepare me, talk with me, walk with me, work with me. Don't beat me up mentally.
However, do you talk with your kids? Do you walk with your kids? Do you prepare your kids?
But I do that because my dad wasn't around. I don't do that because of Mr. Hartley.
Maybe.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay,
the only way I remember Mr. Hartley is I would love to show him everything you thought and said about me was absolutely incorrect. And I've been a way better teacher than you'll ever be. I would love to run up on him in the hold on. I would love to run up on him in the street and just be like, you want to compare our careers? But I wouldn't even give him the satisfaction.
Well, you've given him a lot of airtime and mental space.
That's it. Let's move on.
Okay. Wow.
You're a hater.
Okay.
That was like my moment of vindication. And you're like,
no, I'm just saying.
you're giving him airtime. Can we move on?
Ew, I do not like this at all right now.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so you're right. We do usually end the show with a quote, but we're doing it a little bit early because when we discussed the quote, we kind of got deep into it. But so basically it is truth sometimes hurts, lies often comfort, but only one sets you free. So what is
why that quote though at this time though?
Why that quote at this time? I don't know. Think about it. Let's talk about it. You tell me.
Do you feel like people need truth? Or do you feel like people like love? I don't understand why you chose that quote.
Yeah. So, okay. So, yeah. Well, look around. Look around at everything we do in this country. We love lies. We live lies.
Yeah.
Everything we do is a lie. Look at your social media feed.
Right.
Look at your social media feed. Look at what you're looking at. Are people telling you the real? No. They're telling you what they want you to think about them. They're lying to you. They're creating lies. We live in this state of lies. And this is why when you and I talk about having uncomfortable conversations, that's why this is important. Because when you buy into the lie so much, you don't even realize you're being lied to. You don't even realize you're lying.
Wow.
But you are. And then someone like me or you comes along and goes, well, did you ever think about it this way? Let's talk about this, and challenge people to actually open up their minds and their perspectives and actually go, yeah, maybe this isn't right.
They get uncomfortable because they build, like, their lie is the foundation and they build on top of that lie. And then when you shake that foundation, they get uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Because why? Because the truth hurts.
Right.
Because the truth is difficult to digest. Because the truth means we have to look in the mirror. We actually have to look at things like Breonna Taylor sleeping and being shot at night while she's asleep.
Yeah.
And we have to talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. Who wants to talk about that? That's a difficult thing to talk about.
Right.
Right? And so we don't want to talk about Breonna Taylor. We don't want to talk about the bullshit that we see on our social. Yes, we can bleep it. It's fine. That we see on our social media feeds. We don't want to talk about all this. Because why? Because it's not fun. It's not fun to talk about being depressed. It's not fun to talk about all of the people getting killed. It's not fun. But it has to be talked about, because if we don't look ourselves in the mirror, if we don't face our traumas and our demons and our insecurities, if we don't talk about it, we're not going to change anything.
You're right.
This is why we have to talk about it. But you know what the cool thing about doing that is? When you have uncomfortable conversations with someone who is actually respectful and who wants to help you grow or evolve or push your perspective, beautiful, amazing things can happen.
Right.
So this is why these uncomfortable conversations are so important. This is why it's okay to have those feelings. It's okay to even feel. I saw like this beautiful video of like a man who was a racist, who sat down with a black woman and like spent the day with her. And she walked him through things that he could have never possibly understood and changed his entire perspective.
Yeah.
It's about talking to each other. If we can't be real and talk to each other, we're not going to make the changes that we need to make in this world. And so we live in the lies because the lies are comfortable. Lies are comfortable.
I think I'm tired of people saying, "Oh, but it's just social media." You got to stop saying that if people are spending an inordinate amount of time on social media and much less time interacting with people in person, then social media needs to take on a more real form. Right? Or the things we post, but it won't happen.
It won't happen
because that's the culture.
Exactly. And you're not going to post when you're laying in your bed crying, depressed because you had the worst day ever. You're not taking selfies of that.
I do.
You're taking selfies when you do?
I just posted yesterday almost in tears over Breonna Taylor. I've cried on social media before. I have. I know you don't watch my stuff much, but I've done that. During quarantine, I came to tears while I was posting. I was just so hurt by everything that was going on. Right. So I do that, and I don't mind that. And you know what? People actually applaud it, and I wonder why more people don't do it. I hope it's contagious. Not sit up here and cry on social media. I'm just saying, just be real.
Yeah.
Be a real person. I'm a grown man. I cry when I get upset. It happens.
Yeah, no, you should cry. Everybody cries. That's good. Crying is good. It's a release. Your body needs to cry.
It's healthy, especially when you're talking about a man. Right?
That's my whole point. Yeah, sorry.
Because
that was my whole point.
Yeah, men have the ability to build or destroy. And if you ball all those feelings up, it's going to come out in a negative way. And sometimes they don't even know that's what's coming out of them when they're doing the negative things they're doing.
No, but there's such a stigma around men being emotional. And I hate that.
I feel like that's so old, though.
I know. No, but it still happens. I see it on the basketball court all the time. You were with me one time. I can't remember where we were. And do you remember that father? He was yelling at his son. I
know him.
Yeah. So he was yelling at his son. And the things that were coming out of his mouth, I was like, I can't believe he's talking to his child like that. Like, this is... So... Again, I mean, listen, to each their own, and you do what you think is best with your own kids. But I just hate to think that boys grow up to be men who feel like they're not allowed to be emotional. It's okay to be emotional. It's okay to have feelings. You're a human being.
I would argue that boys who have repressed emotions don't grow up at all, because I feel like your soul never really develops.
Well, there you go. Well, no, you're traumatized at a certain age, and you literally stay that age.
Yeah,
internally. Like, your body continues to grow, but internally, emotionally, you're trapped at that age, and that's a whole nother show. I mean, we could talk about that for hours, but it's... social media is a problem. It's a problem. And everybody thinks like that's what they need to live up to. That's what they need to achieve. And it's such garbage. It's just not true.
And it's subtly, it's a subtle addiction, right? The idea that, damn, I got to post something. Or, wow, that got a lot of likes, so I got to post something more like that. We're not even making money off of this.
No, but you're doing it for likes. You're not doing it.
You're not making money off of it. You can't eat those likes unless you are one of those.
Doesn't matter. You watch the documentary. If you haven't watched it, watch The Social Dilemma. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Even the amount of followers or likes you get. You have dopamine receptors in your brain that react to the heart button and the thumbs up button. Mm-hmm. It is a sick addiction, and it is not subtle. It's like maybe it's subtle to you. Like I'm not saying you personally, but like you don't even realize it because it's so psychologically based. They've done it so well. The creators even admit that they knew the psychology behind it, but they did it anyway. It is a sick, sick addiction. It is disrupting our brains. And one of the craziest things in the documentary that was just like, oh my gosh, was they were showing the suicide rates is insane. But they were showing how technology has grown so quickly in such a short period of time. And they said, but did you ever stop to think that the human brain has not evolved at all?
It hasn't been allowed to. That's what I was speaking about with the
our
systems.
Brain is exactly the same, and technology continues to grow at such a rapid pace we can't even process it. Yeah. And yet here we are scrolling and liking.
As much as technology advances, we stay in the same place. And it's just technology serves as the distraction that we are stagnated, right? And so people buy into this technology and they're like, we got to keep up. You don't have to keep up. You would actually do much more advancement if you detached. In fact, during quarantine, when I detached a little more and I just let myself go, like let my hair go, let myself go, I really grew as a person. I grew internally. And people don't want you to grow internally because you wake up. And when you wake up, you can see the distractions coming.
And the lies.
You can see through the lies. And then you're asking yourself, why are we living in this web of lies? Exactly. For what? Which is why I get frustrated when people I'm close with or who are around me lie. I'm like, we really have more to gain with the truth, especially if I love you. If I love you and you're lying, I'm sorry to say, I feel like you're an idiot. Because if I love you, that's not something I just say. If I love you, I'm here. No matter your mistakes, we can work through it, right? But if you're going to lie, then you're telling me that you don't understand my love. And you think I'm going to leave if you mess this up or if you mess that up. So I can't really respect that. Those lies are comfortable, but that truth is evolutionary.
And again, because only one sets you free.
It's the truth.
And there it is. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, I could dive even deeper into that quote. I mean, it's something that I wish more people would wake up to, but I will challenge you to put your phone down, even for a day, and see how it changes your life. You will be much more present. You will be more productive. You will have more time than you realized you had before. I challenge you to put your phone down and to put social media down. And I'm not saying you have to give it up forever, but give yourself some limits, set some limits, and just make note. And maybe you'll go back, and maybe it won't change you at all. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a really interesting thing to try because it really does have an impact on your mental health.
I agree.
Whether you're,
So America, here's the question for you: how long can you go without social media and text messaging? Because I like to think back during the old school, it was all about, if I pick up when you call, cool. If I don't, see you when I see you. That's old school. I'm old school. But now we have so much access to one another. We feel like we not only have to have someone pick up as soon as we call or have somebody reply as soon as we send a text, we also feel like we have to send a reply as soon as we get that text, or someone's going to be worried about something or think something about us. Mm-hmm. And I don't subscribe to that. Because I remember when people used to call and leave a message on the answering machine.
Mm-hmm. I remember when I didn't even have an answering machine. It just rang.
Yeah. I remember when I didn't have call waiting.
I remember when boys had to actually call my house and had to ask my dad to speak to me.
I didn't have a lot of boys calling me.
I'm not talking about you.
Okay.
So that's an interesting challenge, and I would love to hear your results, Mr. Social Media.
So the interesting thing about that is nowadays, especially because of my new schedule, I really go on social media to post, and then I have to get off. I don't have time. And my text messages.
So why do you feel it necessary to even post?
Because I like to express myself that way. Oh. And remember, I post honest stuff. And I'm also documenting a journey, right? So now, my text messaging is dry as I don't know what. This is the driest my phone has been in almost a decade. And I don't mind it because it gives me the space to actually carry out the missions or the duties that I actually have to do instead of feeling like, oh, I got to pick between sending this message and doing this. I got to get my work done. I got to spend time with my kids. I got to have this conversation with my kid. And time is so limited these days. Well, for me, that a walk around the block with my son is major. Like I live for those moments because I don't have that much time. And then when we do have time together, they have practice, they have this, they have that. So it's like actual quality one-on-one time. I can't. The phone can't get in the way of that. Can't get in the way of that. So this is a pretty decent show. It's pretty good.
It's all right.
It's all right. Well, check us next time.
At least you showed up.
Wow. You've waited the whole show to say that.
I did. I've been, I have a lot of comments about that, but that's okay.
I would like to apologize to everybody for being sick.
Oh, please.
Tune in next time
just go.
for
Just go.
Beyond the Journal with Erin and Lawrence.
Because he showed up.
Take care, everybody. Cheese and rice. Wow. That's a wrap. What?